Hey guys, Rick Archimalt here. Just want to say that we have a big update coming to you guys. It's been a little bit since we last spoke, but it is good stuff and it's going to be coming out more frequently now. One thing I'll say is the video quality on this one was pretty poor, but that will be fixed going forward. So just bear with us. There's still some good stuff in there and we give a good update. So hope you guys enjoy and let's roll it. Good morning, brother. How we doing?
Good morning. How are you? Beautiful Monday today.
Absolutely can't complain. So thanks for joining. And I figure we'll just take some time to explain where we've been, what we're up to, and just to give it a quick update.
Yeah. So Rick and myself, we no longer are running Coastal Run. Rick, you want to dive in and tell them what we're doing now?
Yeah, so back in January, we actually stepped away from Coastal Run full time. Backstory on that, over the past 2 years or so, I've been working on a company called Arch Payments. I partnered with a gentleman who had been in the payments industry for decades and decades. Um, Very successful guy, and we partnered up to open a payment processing company. So I've been working on that on the side for about 2 years, and then it got to the point where right around fall slash December, I decided that it was getting difficult to kind of balance both and give full effort and concentration to both the payments business and to Coastal Run. At which point I decided that I was going to have to choose one or the other. And so what we did is we took Coastal Run. As you guys know, my sister and my mom are heavily involved. We transitioned a lot of the day-to-day over to them, which has been really great, and they're doing awesome things over there. And then I asked Adam if he'd be willing to come on board full time to the payments business and give that a run with me. So as of January 1st, that's kind of what we've been doing, jumping in, and it's been great so far. It's been a great ride. So Q1 was strong and it's shaping out. Obviously, any new start to something is going to be hard. It is nice that we had like a bit of a 2 year tail behind us, um, kind of giving us a jump start. So Adam, how is
Yeah.
it for you jumping from Coastal Run to Arch?
I mean, it's been a learning curve, of course. It's like learning the payment industry. It's like switching any industry is takes a long time, and it was kind of an unknown industry to me, because you don't think about it every time you use your credit card or debit card. You don't think that, hey, there's fees associated with this to the merchant. Obviously, coming from Costa Run, we knew that there was fees. Obviously, we weren't blind to it because we the deposits didn't equal sales. But that being said, that I didn't never knew the ins and outs of interchange and assessments and kind of what the different pricing structures are. So it's been a good time learning it. One thing that I like about it is we get to see a bunch of different business types. So we're not just touching retail, we're not just touching restaurants. It's kind of we get to see a bunch of different businesses, kind of see how they run. And then also it's a good time to kind of get into the business and be able to help them and help them grow. So I think that's another cool thing that we've been doing. We kind of positioned recently. We've kind of moved to more of a business solutions. So helping more than just running credit cards and debit cards for the business, helping them out more. So I'm excited for that as we kind of lean into that over the next couple of months.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. One of the things that we historically were doing that we weren't necessarily branding as was small business help. So I personally have been involved in maybe 8 to 10 small business ventures over the last 6, 7 years. And so classic like entrepreneur mind is you start one thing, then get distracted by another, or you always think the grass is greener, right? Or it's just like a nice way to look at it is that there's opportunity everywhere and you just want to capture as much as you can. The problem with that is if you're not concentrating, then it can get difficult to have results in one area. So anyway, I've been involved with a lot of businesses, and I like the concept of basically working with a lot of people and trying a different bunch of different concepts. And so we get to scratch a bit of a niche these days by working with a whole bunch of different businesses in a almost consultative approach as we go in and install these systems and leverage a lot of tools. So in the past, we were branded primarily as a payments business, which to a large extent is true. Uh, what we are now and what we're really working on increasing our offering is to be, again, consulting for small businesses in automations and tools that they can leverage to grow their top line and their bottom line. Um, Obviously, with AI tools coming out every week, there's a whole bunch of ways to kind of get ahead of the curve for a lot of these small businesses were late to adapt them. And we're still really early on, so it's kind of cool to see how that's progressing. So automations, AI tools, and then payments is always going to be a core part of our offer. If you think about how people are interacting with the customers and how people are paying, it's all in one now. So with the advent of like a true point of sale that's capturing customer information, maybe inventory, maybe services, a whole bunch of data, it fits nicely with the ability to now take that data, collect more data, market to their customers. And so we're really trying to increase the lifetime value, the average order value, um, how sticky the customers are, and really just improve that for our customers, which are the business owners. And I mean, Adam, you want to talk a little bit about how we did that for Coastal Run? I think that would kind of give an idea of how we're able to do that for other people.
Yeah, so looking at it from a retail specific lens, in Coastal Run, one of the first things we did is we got onto a more robust point of sale. So we were on Square, which is really kind of focused to that small business who's just looking to kind of have their one store, and kind of just not super advanced inventory management, so reporting is not super in depth. You can't do store to store transfers. Just basic. It's basic transaction running. Low SaaS fee because it's not super robust. Idea.
Although not so much anymore. They're creeping
Yeah,
up there in price.
yeah. Um, so the idea is we first swapped off that. We moved to a inventory management system called Thrive, Thrive by Shopinventory, which pushes out to Clover. Clover point of sale is really good because it has, I believe, over 700 apps that you can plug into, which allows you to really customize the interface for yourself as well as for your customers and the customer journey.
And
So
just
that first, go ahead.
yeah, just for context on that, like if you think of Clover as almost like Apple in the sense of point of sale, meaning like people can go in and create all these different tools that you can strap on top of it. So Clover's more like a ecosystem that people can build in, which makes it really appealing, opposed to something that's closed, like I don't know, a toaster or a square. Um, People aren't going in and able to kind of now that if you're really big, you can get tie-ons like some of the food ordering and all that, and even some of the payrolls. But it's like the really nuanced stuff for like specific niche businesses, that's harder to come by, and you're not really going to get that unless you pick a complete industry specific point of sale, and that comes with other issues. So Clover's kind of like a nice happy medium where you can get grab a lot, but then also dive really narrow and where you need to be.
Yeah. So that was step one as we implemented Thrive. What this allowed us to do is, as crazy as it seems, when we first started, we were actually printing out barcodes for every single product and um, not even using the native barcodes that come on a product. So, Run Specialty, obviously, every shoe has a specific UPC as well as a specific barcode. So Thrive really helped us be able to take that, get all of our inventory in one place, do transferring. Simple inventory stock takes, just gonna have a lot more control over our inventory. The second big push that we took into account is we wanted to increase the LTV of our customers. So what we did is we implemented a really robust reward and loyalty program because we had a collection of 10,000 plus customers that we were just sitting on that we weren't marketing to. We weren't doing follow-up sequences. So what we did is we implemented a reward system through the Clover point of sale, and that allowed us to do a lot of things. First and the most clear was it allowed us to just send text messages, send emails to customers whenever we wanted, put them in automated flows so that way
Why
after
why is that
purchase.
why is that important though? Like,
It's a lot.
why
It
would I want to even text someone?
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper to bring back a customer who's already shopped than acquire a new customer, because you already have their information. They've already had a good experience with you. So getting more out of your current customer base can be simpler than going to acquire a new customer. You don't have to run more ad spend to bring in that new customer and have that first interaction. And after, if you get a customer in, I think Rick, you probably know this better than me, but I think it's if you get them in two times, the likelihood that they continue to shop with you goes up. Well, I don't know
Like
the
80,
metric.
80%. So it's like the name of the game is get them in twice so that you can get them in a third time. And if they come in basically two times, that means they're a repeat customer. You're going to have them for potentially years.
Yeah.
Um, yep.
Uh, yeah. So that was a big one. We started Um, automated text messages, that was a big one as well. So after that first purchase, having that follow-up message telling them thank you for shopping. Here's a little incentive to come in. This is really dumbing it down to what we actually did, but just hey, here's an incentive to come in and buy for a second time with us. We really appreciate you supporting our business. And then even going to the next level of if they don't come back in within 30 days, hitting them again and saying, "Hey, we noticed you haven't been in." Obviously, there's a lot more steps in that sequence. That's just the really high level. And then the coolest one I think we put into place was the referral program. Rick, that was kind of your baby. So if you want to talk about it, you can.
Yeah, the referral program is awesome. One of the things that we strongly believe is that if you can have just a few really core supporters, that's enough to really grow a brand off of. So, what we found was that the people who did support us were happy to spread the message on our behalf. And that touched a couple things. One of them is the referrals. The other would be the Google reviews, Facebook reviews, which we don't really have time to jump into the details of all of them, but putting in those automations were huge because um, it's like people are happy to give you a Google review or Facebook review, as long as you ask for it in the proper context and make it easy for them to review. So what we found was that if you pair it with something that's low cost to deliver, and you present it at the proper time, then people are more than happy to leave those reviews. And I don't think there's any argument out there that the Google reviews make a big difference in your SEO and then just getting people in the door. It's like a credibility thing. If you have, I don't know, 50, 100, 200, 1,000 five-star reviews, it's kind of going to speak for itself. The part that Adam's talking about with the referrals was kind of a cool concept, um, similar to the idea that it's cheaper to acquire a customer via someone who's already a customer than it is to go get a net new one. So just incentivizing these people. I mean, these people already want to shop with you. Give them even more of a reason to come back and continue to shop. So if we did it in a two-part way, we were kind of going back and forth. Like, do we incentivize the people who are doing the referring? Meaning, if I go and refer a friend, should I get the benefit, or should the person that's receiving the referral be the one who's benefiting? Meaning, if I refer my friend, now my friend gets a heavy discount or something. And it's like after kind of thinking about it for like, well, why not both, right? Because at the end of the day, it's gonna be more than enough um, revenue coming in from the addition of these customers that it makes sense just to make everybody happy. So it's kind of cool. You can give something away to the person that's doing the referring. They give it to their friend. Their friend feels great because they get an awesome deal. The person themselves actually feels great too for two reasons. Number one, they get a good deal. Number two is that they feel good about giving something to their friend. So it's like a triple win, and then we win on the back end. So that's a four win. So I mean, automating a lot of that stuff so that you don't really have to think about it is one of like the best tools that is out there that people just aren't taking advantage of. Someone comes in, makes a purchase, let's say it's their second purchase, third purchase, whatever you want it to be, they're going to be able to have that automatically sent out directly to their email, directly to their text message, right to their phone. Now they have like a code that they can just blast out to all their friends. Their friends get, I don't know, $20 free to spend in store, something like that. You can make these kind of ridiculous because the math on the back end makes up for itself as long as you're able to keep and nurture these customers. And if you have a good product, that's not going to be a problem. So, yeah, I mean, I guess there's so much we could dive into. We could do a section specifically on each of these and talk in depth for hours, probably on the automations that we can put in place. But the big thing is that knowing that you, number one, can do it, and number two, the value of doing it, and number three, knowing where you can go to find more information about that is kind of the important part.
Yeah. Getting away a little bit from coastal run, do you think we should touch on kind of who we can help and who are kind of our businesses that we like to work with are, and kind of the solutions we have for them, just so since it is day one here. Um,
Yeah, we'll just give a. We probably won't touch on that more than just once here, but yeah, I think just an overview of who we are, so people who are following along can learn about us and know what we're doing.
yeah,
Um,
yep. So we have solutions for just about any type of business out there, specifically small to medium sized. We like to touch kind of a few different avenues. We kind of split them into service based, restaurant and hospitality, and then retail. So you can think service based can be something home service based, like HVAC companies, plumbing, cleaning. It also can touch your barber shop, salon, that kind of personal service. So we have solutions for both of those. We can all types of restaurants, big, small, quick serve, table, fast food. We do have solutions for that as well, and have playbooks to kind of help you continue to grow your revenue. And then obviously us coming from retail, we have very deep retail knowledge. So we won't harp on it too much, but I did just kind of want to get that out there, and kind of who we'll be talking about.
yeah, yeah, and is there like one specific vertical you're most excited to work with, you think?
I would say, I mean, retail always gets me excited because I think our knowledge base is really good. And then restaurant is a cool one to me, because there is so much cool tech out there for restaurants now, with like a kiosk ordering. I'm excited to get a couple of those implemented for a few clients, and so I'm excited. I'm happy to work with all businesses. So how about yourself?
Yeah, I think the cool part is letting people know what actually exists for them, and breaking a belief that you have to be a large retailer, a large restaurant, large home service provider in order to capitalize on some of these tools. So you bring up the kiosk, right? Like a lot of small businesses that are in high foot traffic areas or maybe have a smaller footprint can really use something like that to leverage their business. They're paying less to staff members to basically man that, and they can focus on fulfillment. There's a whole bunch of other cool statistics like upsells, percentages, and the increase in revenue that comes from adding something like that in. And there are these little like keys that you can turn um, to unlock like big revenue jumps in your business for relatively inexpensive. So I think it's just cool being on the forefront of that and being the one that can kind of research some of the stuff and basically pull it into a cohesive offer that we can go and provide to people. That's my favorite part about all of this. And just being able to kind of show people. I mean, it's really cool when you implement something and in payments, the big thing is savings, that, or at least it was for a long time. And it's like in the last maybe 5 years, it's now really shifting towards, okay, how can we actually optimize your business instead of just saving, right? So if you think about it, like they talk about wealth like this too. you can either decrease your spend, so that'd be budgeting or spending less than you earn, and then the other side of the equation is the numerator, right, which would be how much you earn. And that's very similar for small business. It's like you can do your savings where you're dropping and you're saving people money, but this is finite. You can only go down to zero. And in reality, you're not going to get to zero uh, all that often. Now, that's great, right? And there are big savings here, but growing someone's top line, that's huge because it's like that's scalable and they can continue to do that over and over and over and repeat it. And there's really no cap to that. So I like seeing wins like that, and I think Coastal Run was a great example of that, and I can't wait to do more of it for other businesses that we're working with.
Yeah, well said.
Anything else that you would touch on?
Not. I mean, man, I'm a little blank here. Getting back into the flow
No,
of the
no worries,
podcast.
brother. It's clear that we haven't had
Uh,
our coffee yet this morning.
I think what would be cool is diving deeper into some of the things that we did with Coastal Run and kind of how we can implement those. So, I mean, we haven't really talked about what our formal structure is, but I think it'd be fun. Maybe have a podcast just talking about, like you said earlier, specific parts of that reward program and the loyalty program. So I'm excited to kind of do some of those deeper ones, dive in a little bit in more in depth. But right now for podcast number one, still getting back into the flow of things. So.
Yeah, no, this is good. I mean, it's really just a overview. You just want to do a speed round real quick where I'll just ask you a bunch of questions. You can answer
Oh,
them, and then
sure.
we can.
Let's do it.
All right. Let's see. All right, so we'll start with kind of the transition from coastal to arch, and then we'll touch on just the arch specific things. Um, okay. What do you think was the biggest contribution to Coastal Run that you were proudest of during your time there?
I would say the events line of business and getting that going, as well as the increased merchandising that happened. But I would say the biggest one is definitely that events mobile operation and growing that from 5, 6 events a year to kind of not kind of 3 to 4 events every month. So that was exciting for me and seeing the top line growth there. So yeah.
That was a big lift, yeah, and that was fun. Good travel in the van, going around and popping around the country.
Yep.
Okay, and then what do you let's talk about like the Arch brand itself and what it stands for.
Yeah.
Um, what are you looking forward to in kind of the rebrand from payments to more of a consulting approach?
I think what you touched on earlier of not positioning as we're going to save you money and positioning as we're going to help you grow. Because, like you said, savings, you can only save so much, and growing is it's rewarding for the business owners. It's also rewarding for us to say, hey, we really helped these people. We got them from spending 7 days a week in their store to they can now take a vacation and take weekends and have somebody running the business. So I'm excited for that. That's probably top for me. How about
Yeah,
yourself?
yeah, you hit it right on the head. Being a growth partner, it's almost like we're coming in and we get to help someone make decisions or run their business for a brief period of time, and then kind of put in some systems for them that are going to allow them to run more smoothly or more efficiently and kind of be on put some things on autopilot. In effect, we're almost like a fractional COO for some of these businesses, which is really cool thing. It feels good for us and it feels great for them too to kind of have that pressure off. We got 2 minutes left. Do you have any questions for me that you'd ask?
I would ask, kind of where how was the transition? I mean, I'll just same question back to you. How was that transition from Coastal Run? Can you walk us through kind of what the I mean, you've been in it for 2 years now, but kind of why you finally took the leap and kind of what made that decision?
Yeah, so Coastal Run we've been at since 2021. I mean, I remember sitting at the kitchen table with my mom and setting up the point of sale, manually keying in all the inventory, actually typing in the numbers of the SKUs into our point of sale at the time. Super inefficient way to do it, but that's all we knew at the time. And so we've been at it for a while. Obviously, when I came out of college, I went into that full time in 2022, and I've just been heads down grinding on that business ever since. So I think there was a bit of a resistance to walking away. Um, Now, that being said, we left it in great hands. We're still involved in the business, just not the day to day. So yeah, whenever you go and you make a decision to go and do something entirely new, it's always the question of, am I making the right decision or not? And I think for a while, that's kind of what made me delay the decision. I've been grappling with it probably about a year into the new business, and I think coming to a decision felt really great, and just kind of locking it in. And that was the best thing is with most things, once you make the decision, now you're committed, you're in, and then everything takes care of itself. So it's fun, man. Growing is fun, and just experiencing the new stages of the business. Coastal Run, obviously very retail specific, brick and mortar. This is a very different business. This is a service-based business. The way money is collected is different. The money model is different. Everything about it is different. Am I able to translate a lot of the skills I learned from retail into the service-based business? Absolutely. And in fact, I think it gives an excellent edge. I think, especially coming into AI taking over and kind of becoming this big thing, I think having like that very human brick and mortar, face-to-face, whatever you call it, competitive advantage, is gonna mean something. So yeah, I think we've got a couple tricks up our sleeve too. I think there's a play for the events model, going to some of these conferences and just kind of, I mean, if you go to like a retail conference, it's like it's pretty cutthroat because you're basically bidding for people's attention and for people's dollars lifetime. You're transacting on the spot. Versus what we found at a lot of these service-based uh conferences is that it's the same thing. You're bidding for attention, but you're not necessarily selling on the spot. You're just trying to make a connection. So it's like, I think, Adam, you were saying you had a lot of ideas for how to kind of translate a lot of the basically direct sales stuff into the service-based conference models, and really just like gaining a bunch of attention and or emails collected or just relationships based off of some of the tips and tricks that we've picked up over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. It's like when we would go to the running expos, exactly what Rick said. You're competing not only against other retailers, but also the race itself to demand the dollars and get active transactions right there. I mean, there is a long-term play where you're doing email collection as well, but it's not the, you got to make the, you got to make the dollars so that way the investment was worth it. Um, so when I recently went to a business specific expo, not what 2 weeks ago, and I just noticed that no hate on any of the providers who were there, but a lot of their booths compared to some of those retail ones were kind of lacking. There was no, it was kind of just them at a table talking to people, and no real incentive to have them come over and talk, or or even bid for the attention. It was just kind of like, oh, you want to talk to me? Great. Um, and so I think there is a lot of room there where we could kind of implement some of those retail specific ideologies into the service-based expo. So
And keep in
definitely,
mind, we started out that way too. We'll pop up a
yeah,
picture of our first booth. It wasn't great, right? Like we
no,
started at farmers markets and stuff, so it's definitely a skill that translates. So happy to
yeah.
have that.
All
Well,
right. Well, I think
Adam, this was good. It
oh
sounds like we're both hitting the same segment here. I'll let you wrap it up. Go ahead.
yeah. So that was just about 30 minutes. So we'll keep these a little bit shorter than the past, probably 30 minutes around there. And we'll every Monday, is that our cadence? I believe, right? Every Monday morning. So I don't know when you guys will see this, but every Monday, me and Rick will hop on here, and talk. And yeah, I appreciate you guys listening to us, and bringing you on this adventure.
Right on. Thanks, Adam.
See ya.